Hi guys, welcome to this video. I'm Prashant, I'm the founder of Wordpandit, and I'm going to take you through a video which is going to help you prepare for XAT VARC for XAT 2022. The agenda in this video is very simple. We are just going to focus on the VARC section. We are going to analyze previous year exams, previous year XAT exams, and we are going to derive key learnings from the same, right? So I'm going to go through a quick overview of the patterns. Let's keep it as factual as possible. We are not going to indulge in anything which is based essentially gossip or rumor about the exam. So we'll just stick to the patterns. I'll identify the areas you need to focus on, and we're going to pick all these up through the patterns of the exams, right? So we're going to go through, it's going to be a quick overview of the last 4 years. Now, last year there were 26 questions in the VARC sections. That does not have sectional time limits. So you had roughly 50 to 60 minutes to solve the exam, right? Or the VARC portion of the exam, right? Out of the 165 minutes in total. It depends, right? If VARC is your strength area, you'll probably be able to finish it in a quicker amount of time. You'll be able to finish it within a given time limit and probably give time to the other areas. So there are checks and balances that need to be maintained. I will put out a video about the overall exam as well, but today we'll stick to these 26 questions in the VARC section. The first learning before we dig into the slides is that is a RC and reasoning centric exam, and we'll see through the paper patterns that grammar and vocabulary, 4 VARC areas, right? English language is 4 areas: reasoning, RC, vocabulary, grammar. RC and reasoning come right at the top with respect to XAT, and grammar and vocabulary relatively lower importance. How do we derive this? Let's look at the exam patterns. So if you go through the exam pattern for the last year, there were 3 questions which were based on grammar. So 2 grammatically incorrect, or identify the grammatically incorrect or correct sentence. They were fill in the blanks. There was a single question with 4 blanks. The words were not particularly tough, but this was driven by logic. 5 questions based on reasoning, 2 para-jumbles and 3 critical reasoning questions. And then you had 7 passages. The tough part in these passages, some of these just had 2 questions in them, but they were short passages as well. There was a poem as well. Some of these passages were very difficult. So in terms of overall attempt and difficulty level, difficult RC stuff, some easy questions, just one RC which had a couple of easy questions, otherwise medium to difficult. That was the difficulty level, and that was the difficulty level of the overall exam last year. So if we look at it, grammar and vocabulary just featured a total of 4 questions, 5 reasoning questions, and remaining RC questions, right? So that's the breakup for the previous year. If we go to XAT 2020, again we had 2 grammar questions, 2 vocabulary questions, 6 CR questions, and 2 para-jumbles, and followed by 5 RCs, right? So including 1 poem. So we had Robert Frost in 2020, and we had Vikram Seth last year, right? So famous authors as well picked up. Again, you can see the primary thrust is towards para-jumbles and critical reasoning in the reasoning section, and then you've got your RCs, which are all generally medium to difficult level. The year before that, we got an antonym question. So that seems like a rare exception, right? An analogy question and 3 fill-in-the-blank questions. So this was one of those exams which had 5 vocab questions and 2 jumbled paragraphs. 5 critical reasoning. So critical reasoning is ever present in these exams. So that's one thing that's got to be kept in mind. That 2019 was an exception, right, to rather than a norm, with 5 vocab questions and then again 5 RCs, including 1 poem. And we go back 1 year before that, you get sentence correction. So that's 1 grammar question, 3 vocab questions, and again para-jumbles, critical reasoning, 7 questions in total. And then you've got your poem and 4 RCs. So if I look at the consistent theme for the last 4 years, right? So barring 1 year, majority of these exams have had 3 to 4 vocab and grammar questions combined. So that's the maximum level. They've had 7 to 8 questions, anywhere between 7 to 8 questions, para-jumbles and critical reasoning, at times even 6. So 6 to 8 is the number within which para-jumbles and critical reasoning portion fluctuates. And you've got 5 to 6 RCs with 1 poem. So that's the consistent pattern of the exam, right? So that's the pattern that the exam adopts. Now, what do we learn out of it? That's something that's got to be very critical. Critical reasoning is a constant, 5 to 6 questions every year. So that's important from your perspective. So you have to practice CR, go through the concepts, go through the practice problems for this particular area. Parajumbles are a constant, a couple of questions. Vocabulary, it's a mixed bag, right? So you've got from fill in the blanks to analogies to antonyms. So when you've got a mixed bag of questions, you should understand that it's that much tougher to prepare for that particular exam, right? Because there is a lot of fluctuation in the exam. So just be a little careful. Grammar, 2 to 3 questions at max, at times in the sentence correction format. 5 RCs, including 1 poem. So poems is something that you will have to prepare for. So this is something that you will have to prepare for. This is something that you will have to target in RCs. You cannot leave poems out of your prep strategy. So that's something that you got to do. Also, RCs are generally difficult in nature, lots of inference-based questions. Some questions can get pretty vague. So a lot of inferential and application-based questions. So that's the general theme, tone, and tenor of this particular exam. Now, the key derivation for you guys is the checkpoints are RCs absolutely need to be done. Reasoning absolutely needs to be done. Vocab and grammar, you've got to take a call. How much time are you going to invest on vocab and grammar, right? That's a personal take that you've got to take. Now, how can we help you with the course? What is it that we've got in our course that you can use? You've got parajumbles in the dashboard, more than enough. Critical reasoning, you need lots of practice. You need to go through the concepts. I've already covered these in the course in detail. There are concepts. There are 10 classes for critical reasoning. Along with that, I will share practice sets for XAT. So I will share specifically practice sets for XAT as well. And I'm going to do that in the month of December as well. So you'll get lots of practice. Grammar, you do a cost benefit analysis, how much time you need to spend. But if you keep your overall prep in mind, have a common strategy for XAT, IFT, SNAP, and all the other non-CAT exams. Prepare grammar once, because you will then be able to cover the whole spectrum of examinations. I will share 20 sentence correction sets with you guys. So that's an additional thing that I'm going to do with you guys. Along with this, for vocabulary, you cover the 120-day vocab builder. We are covering 2 books, 6 weeks to Words of Power and Word Power made easy. So you can take a call whether you have enough time to do that, right? Plus, you revise all the words that you've discovered through reading. We will also have WhatsApp audio events. So those audio events, you can keep attending them. You can keep going through those. There is one peculiar thing that XAT features in the exam. At times, it features pairs of confusing words, right? So for example, rational and rationale, right? So that's a confusing words. So rational without the E and rationale with an E, right? So that's something that it does. So rational without an E, right? It basically refers, it's the adjective form. It refers to something being logical in nature, and rationale is the noun form for the same word. So it's the reasoning behind something, right? So that's the usage difference between rational and rationale. Now, that's a confusing word pair. So you can use our website, which has a usage tips section. You can use this and you can learn all these confusing words through this particular section, right? You can do that. I'll post the link in the video below as well, in the description box. That's something that you can do. So you'll find all these confusing words listed from A to Z along this section. So you can go through these and cover these through this free section that we've got on the website. Overall, there is one more thing that's got to be kept in mind. Poems, I've already added a set of poems to the course dashboard, poems with their meanings and their explanations. Remember, it's important to go through those, right? So I will provide some more poems for practice. I will also provide a PDF of some tough RCs, right? So these RCs, these will be provided in the course as well. Those of you who are not in the course, since I'm putting this video up on YouTube as well, try to solve advanced level RCs. Previous year XAT questions are super important as well. In the course, we'll cover XAT 2012 to 2021. So I'll cover those with video solutions. Now, those of you who are not there in the course, please get a copy of these previous year XAT questions. Preferably try to go through a reputed website or a reputed publisher, and make sure you go through all these previous year RCs, right? That's an absolute must. These XAT VARC section tests from 2012 to 2021. These are VARC section tests that I'm going to put up. These are bonus tests for you. These are going to be super useful. Remember, these are available for students which are part of the course. But overall, those people who are not part of the course, my advice to you guys is please pick up the most important poems in the English language. Just run a quick search, the important poems, their meaning, understand those meanings, solve super tough RCs. So you can also solve for CAT from CAT 2000 to 2008. These are some very tough RCs. These will be good for your XAT preparation. Also solve previous year XAT questions, right? So those are things that you've got to do. These are all the things that we will be providing in the course as well. So these are obviously part of our course, but those of you who are not in the course, you can use these resources as well. And this is how you can go about your preparation. Grammar and vocabulary, that's the one area where I leave it up to you guys to take a call. But make sure you solve critical reasoning. As a thumb rule, you should solve at least 200 CR questions. That's something that you've got to do. Solve at least 100 plus para jumbles, right? And solve tough para jumbles, not easy para jumbles. So that's what you've got to do for reasoning. Solve previous year XAT papers, solve CAT 2000 to 2008 papers for RC prep, and go through poems. These are some of the thumb rules. Vocab and grammar, prepare for other non-CAT exams. Have a common strategy for all, right? In fact, I will be putting up videos for all the 4 exams: XAT, SNAP, IFT, and MAT. So this is the XAT video. I'll be putting up 3 more videos. So then you can go through all the videos and adopt a common strategy for vocab and grammar for all these exams. So this is what you've got to do with respect to XAT prep. I hope this video clarifies everything and you get a better idea, a better sense of how do you need to prepare for XAT. Thank you very much for going through this video. This is Prashant from Wordpandit signing off, and as always, happy learning.